If you're watching this video, that means that you are at least interested in the idea of letterboxing, or you saw the phrase in the title and it was enough for you to click on it. But I've become interested in the idea of letterboxing because I'm intrigued with noticing things that other people miss and trying to solve mysteries in a way of keeping our minds sharp and getting better at problem solving and decision making and discovering those literal and metaphorical treasures in our lives. And the letterboxing movement is one that has intrigued me. So I've jotted down a few notes that I want to walk through with you in this video, but chronology of the history of letterboxing and maybe what we can learn from it. If nothing else, it could be a great hobby for some people. Maybe you didn't even know that it was going on right now. There are, in fact, over 90,000, 100,000 letterboxes that are hidden right now in the United States. But let's go back to 1854. So James Perrott places a glass jar on a stone in England, and there are no clues or no puzzles at that time. It was really just a card, a contact card that was hidden in a bottle. And this was in a place that was not very easy to get to. It was a swampy area that would get flooded regularly. You would have to hike, I think, about 9 or 10 miles to get to the place where it was located. And it was simply a kind of connection with other people across time, because he hid it there with the hope that someone else would wander to this obscure location and stumble across the bottle and pick it up and open it and find the contact card and reach out to him. And that's what happened. And that was it. That was the whole concept. And that was the beginning of this letterboxing movement. But nothing really happened for a number of years. So we go forward to 1888, and there was a small tin box that replaced the original bottle with the concept. And it appears that by that time, some other people had started to do a similar kind of thing. Contact information you would put in there, and then people would find it, and they would contact you to let you know that they had been in the same place where you were. Then we go to 1907. It's the first suggestion of a rubber stamp that appeared in a logbook that was written by a guy named John Struther. And so the idea here was that instead of just doing the bottle, we have a box that's being used, and you would get there and you would find it, and there would be a custom created rubber stamp. And you could use that stamp and you get a little bit of ink and you could stamp it in your logbook, in the logbook. It's a recognition of that you've collected this, and you can collect a series of these stamps. And my understanding is that other people who are searchers for letterboxes will have their own custom stamp, so they can put a stamp in the logbook to acknowledge that they have been there. And there's this connection with people across time. Very simple concept. There's no gold treasure or highly valuable item. It's simply connecting with other people in an interesting way. And this developed over time. So we get to 1937 and we see an appeal by the Western Morning News. It was a permanent store box with a door that was built in, and you would discover one that was hidden there. And then we jump all the way up to like the 1970s. There's really no more than a dozen sites around England, and after a century, the hobby finally starts to move beyond just a handful of remote locations in a particular part of England. And so it just keeps growing from there. And then the Smithsonian Magazine writes an article about the concept of the letterbox and this British hobby that had emerged. And a number of readers found it interesting, and they started diving into it. And there was the formation of Letterboxing North America that's born. And it's a website that you can find today as well. And they don't use GPS coordinates and the like, but if you hide a letterbox, you can provide a clue on that website and people can begin to go and search for it. And it uses the rubber stamp model. We go to 2001, we have over 1,000 letterboxes by that time in the United States, covering every single state in the country. 2004, there's another website called Atlas Quest that emerges that does a similar thing with letterboxes. And then in the 2000s, it just continues to grow and get more and more popular. But then geocaching comes on board and it takes the center stage, and letterboxing maybe a little bit to the side. But today, it's still active. There are over 90,000 letterboxes in North America alone, and I'm not sure how many there are in other parts of the world. And my understanding is that in Dartmoor in England, that there's still over 20,000 cataloged letterboxes just in that area as a home base of letterboxing. Interesting to me. Why is it that people have been so intrigued with this? And over history, it's been used differently. With the modern rubber stamp, the original was a bottle with a card. Somewhere in between, there was a postcard component where you would have a postcard with a stamp that would be in the letterbox. You'd discover it, and you would take that postcard and you would leave one of your own, and then you would send that postcard with a letter to the person who was there before you. So it was a chain of people who had been in the same location. Maybe there's this natural human craving for connection that drives people to explore this sort of thing. Maybe it's the fact that we are all designed with a craving for a sense of wonder and mystery and connection with other people, meaningful connections with other people. But regardless, the letterboxing movement, while not necessarily mainstream, is strong and perhaps even growing. And I suspect that we're going to see more of this. With the geocaching, with the letterboxing, there are other forms where there are these USB drives that are hidden in walls, and you plug your computer in to see what was hidden and pass it on. That one's always a little suspect to me. I keep wondering if someone's going to leave a virus behind on the USB, but there are more and more of these things happening, which is part of why I've become intrigued with what I call the larger treasure hunting movement community. It's not just about searching for the items that are valued in the thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. It's also something far more simple and basic. It's the desire to discover. It's a desire to solve mysteries, and along the way to maybe make some meaningful connections with others. And I think that's worth pursuing. I think that's a good, healthy aspect to modern life.